Hello everyone and welcome back to Mariana Mas Books. My name is Mariana and today I am here with a 26 random questions tag. So this tag was created by David Murphy at the channel David Murphy, a channel I very much recommend. He mostly talks about historical nonfiction, and I do have several tags in which I actually was tags. I have a list of tags I haven't filmed, and of course I thought, I wonder what would be a good idea for a video to film. Oh yes, I'm going to do a tag that I wasn't tagged in, even though I have a list of tags that I actually was tagged in that I haven't filmed. So I decided that that's what I was going to do, and as the title says, it's just 26 random questions, and David in his video, he says they are nosy questions, and they are nosy, non-bookish questions. I love these types of tag. It can be bookish or non-bookish. Just in general, I love these types of like random interview type question tags. I don't know, I guess I'm just a nosy person. So I decided I wanted to do it, and it's 26 questions, and I usually talk a lot, ramble a lot. You know this if you have watched my videos, so I'm going to try to keep it short. Try being the operative word, but I am going to try to keep it short, okay? But yeah, so let's get on with the questions. I mean, I'm just rambling and I haven't even started yet. What was your most recent YouTube rabbit hole? My latest YouTube trail that I follow has been for reaction videos. If you have seen my previous videos in this channel, you already know this. You are probably sick of hearing me talk about the reaction videos that I have been watching. It started with my Lord of the Rings obsession. I watched a reaction video, and then, you know, the algorithm happens and they recommend you another one and then another one, and so I started watching tons of Lord of the Rings reaction videos. And then one day I was watching a Jennifer Brooks video, and she was talking about her favorite movie of all time, which is Titanic, and she's super funny when she talks about Titanic. And you know, the algorithm knows everything about you, so they started recommending me reaction videos to Titanic, and these are people who have never seen the movie, first time watching. And I thought, oh my god, this is going to be hilarious to watch people watch Titanic for the first time. And so I started watching Titanic reaction videos, and then I don't know why, but I got a recommendation for Coco from Pixar, a reaction video. And if you have seen that movie or know about it, it's about Dia de Muertos, and so it's set in Mexico. And I don't know, I was just curious about what people had to say about Dia de Muertos, I guess. So I started watching those, and I guess it does count as a rabbit hole, right? Question number 2. What song is currently stuck in your head? The song currently stuck in my head is One Day More from Les Mis. My sister recently or just now had been working on a production, a local school production of Les Mis, and we of course went to see the play. I love that musical, and so the music has been stuck in my head, and I have been singing in my head One Day More from Les Mis. Question number 3. What kind of music do you listen to the most? Mostly is either soundtracks. So I listen to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, Game of Thrones soundtrack, Outlander soundtrack. I love the Outlander soundtrack. What else? Oh, and with an E, I love the with an E soundtrack. Or Broadway musical soundtracks. Something that is not soundtracks, I guess I like listening to folksy type stuff, or music that gives me Viking vibes. explain it. Is that what is something you need to get better at? I need to get better at exercising, and when I say get better at, is not like becoming an expert at a specific sport or type of exercise. I mean getting better at exercising regularly. In the sense that I don't, and I need to. Question number 5. Do you set goals? What are your goals for the end of the year, next year? My friends would laugh at this question because I am a goals person. I'm going to share 2 for next year, 1 bookish, 1 non-bookish. So the non-bookish would be exercising regularly, at least 4 times a week. And I don't mean like go to the gym and do like super intense stuff, just like half-hour walks, just something like that. And the bookish goal, one of the ones I'm most excited for is a personal history non-fiction goal of mine. I want to read more Mexican history. That's one of my personal reading projects for next year. I'm super excited for that one. I already have some books picked out. I might do a video about it, but yeah, that's one of my goals for next year. Number 6. What was the last time you lost your temper? I used to lose my temper a lot before my surgery, the surgery that I always talk about, before my diagnosis in 2009. I recently did a video of non-fiction books that actually changed me, and I talked about a book called My Stroke of Insight. I'm not going to go into detail because I'm going to talk about this in the book palette tag that I'm filming in the next couple of weeks. But after I read that one, it made me stop losing my temper with a scientific fact that they give you that is super interesting, that I'm going to talk about when I film my book palette tag. If you're talking about losing your temper in the sense of like bursting into tears, that would be last week when I went to the hospital for my MRI. I hate MRIs and I hate the yearly MRI, and this particular one was super stressful for reasons, and I lost it and I cried a little bit before the MRI. But I don't know if that's what this question is talking about. Do you swear too much? No, I don't. I never swear in Spanish. I get teased about it a lot because I'm a straight A student, nerd, read a lot, shy, introvert. You know, like that stereotype of the bookworm. I'm that stereotype, and I don't swear. So I'm always teased for being like a guri. But it's funny because I don't swear in Spanish, but I do swear in English. So whenever something happens that makes me want to swear, I will say or a lot. I don't know. I feel like I'm not swearing because it's not my first language. Please go watch David's answer to this question because 100% can relate, and yeah, I'm not going to go into detail as to why, but it's the best answer. Do you spend question 8, do you spend too much money on shoes? No, I spend too much money on books. What is the worst book you have ever read? Again, talking about my the video I did with the non-fiction books that changed my life, I did a whole explanation on self-help and what I think about self-help, and I mentioned about how it did help me when I needed it, when I was after my surgery, etc. However, there is a ton of garbage in self-help, which is, I don't know, I guess that's why it gets a bad reputation. So I have read a lot of really terrible self-help books. When you have a chronic illness, when you spend a lot of time in the hospital, and people know that you like to read, they tend to give you self-help books. Some are good, and have helped me, and some are really, really terrible. I could list many of the terrible ones, but I'm going to talk about one that is very popular, so that's why I want to mention it. Please don't read it. It's called The Four Agreements, I think, and the subtitle is something like Ancient Toltec Wisdom, something like that, which always cracks me up because like I don't know if you know this, but the Toltecs are an ancient culture from pre-Columbine or pre-Hispanic. I never know what the proper word in English is. Most people know the Aztecs. The Toltecs were another of the cultures that were here before the Spanish came to conquer. And what does that even mean, ancient Toltec wisdom? And I have a hard time believing that the Toltecs taught to think positively. It sounds too modern, self-helpy to be ancient Toltec wisdom, and it sounds too much like a marketing thing, right? To say like, oh, I am a descendant from ancient Toltecs. Okay guys, I am in my pajamas and I am coming to you from the future just to add one more tiny bit of rant about this book. Just because I can't. So the author's name is Don Miguel Ruiz, which is it's a weird name, okay? So the Don in his name throws me off because Don is kind of like a title name. So Don is like saying sir. So Don Miguel Ruiz sounds like Sir Miguel Ruiz, and Don is a very Spanish thing. So Don Miguel Ruiz is the most Spanish sounding name I have ever heard, and if the author is a descendant of ancient Toltec wisdom, why does he have the name of a Spanish conquistador? Are you a homebody or are you more adventurous? I am a homebody. I am the least adventurous person you will ever meet, and I say that proudly. I am not even a little bit embarrassed about it. Then question 11, do you take naps? Yes, I do. I didn't used to. I didn't like doing it, but after my surgery, after my diagnosis, after the illness, everything, sometimes I do need to take naps. Question 12. Have you ever been to Minnesota, the greatest state in the Union? David is from Minnesota, if you couldn't tell from the question. No, I've never been. I'm from Mexico, and I live in Mexico, and I have been to many places in the US, but I've never been to Minnesota. I'll have to go check it out if it's the greatest state in the Union. Question number 13. Have you ever tried to emulate someone? I'm sure I have. I can't think of a specific someone at this moment, but I'm sure I have. I do have people I admire, people I look up to. If you saw my Tolkien tag, you might have seen that when I was 12, I wanted to emulate Arwen from The Lord of the Rings.
If you want him, come and claim him.
But a more serious answer I can't think of right now. Question 14. What is the worst food you have ever eaten? There's this herb called papalo. We use it mainly in a very traditional type of sandwich. Here from where I live, that's called a semita, and semitas usually have papalo. Papalo is the strongest herb you will ever eat. Like if you eat it, you will taste it for 2 weeks. I hate papalo. I never put it when I get semitas. I always order them without papalo. Do you enjoy bars? What kind are you, or have you been a regular at one? I have never been a regular at one. I don't particularly enjoy them. And yes, as I said, I'm a homebody. I am the cliche of a bookworm, so I am more of a coffee house person than a bar person. That being said, I do enjoy bars when I go with friends, when they are not extremely loud. I enjoy bars that are good for conversation, like a bohemian type bar where you can go and sit and have a beer and talk about books with your leftist friends. that cliche, that type, yeah, that type of bar I enjoy, but I have never been a regular at one, and I don't go super often. I go to coffee houses more than I go to bars. And then the next question is sort of related, and is, have you ever been hungover? No, I have never been hungover. I have never been drunk in my life. And that's not only because I'm a rule follower and goody goody. No, I mean in part, but no. See, in Mexico, the drinking age is 18. I'm sure you know that because every US college student has traveled to Mexico before 21 so they can have a beer.
Is she going for spring vacation or is she going for spring break?
But yeah, so the age, the official drinking age is 18. Most people drink before 18. It's not hard to, I mean, I drank at parties in high school, in bars even before 18. Because of the rule following part, I did drink a little sometimes when I went out in high school, but not too much because I was a rule follower. So maybe just like a couple of sips or like not even a full beer. I never really liked that much the taste of alcohol. So yeah. But then I got diagnosed with the illness I have when I was 19, 1 year after my 18th birthday, and like being able to legally drink and legally get drunk. So at 19 I had my surgery, and I have a thing called dysphagia, which means I can't swallow, so I can't eat through my mouth. So I eat through a feeding tube. So I can't taste what I eat because I just put everything in a blender and eat through the feeding tube. So I don't see the point. Some friends ask me, why don't you put alcohol in your feeding tube? And why would I do that? You know, like if I can't even taste it, what would be the point in like getting drunk just for the sake of getting drunk? Yeah. Question 17. When was the last time you laughed out loud while reading? That was very recently. I don't know, last week I was reading Better Than People by Ron Parrish, which is a romantic comedy. And one of the heroes, it's an MM romance, and one of the heroes has 4 dogs and 4 cats or something like that. He's an animal person. And the descriptions of the animals are hilarious. He has a golden retriever who is afraid of puddles, so his name is Puddles, and that type of thing. And whenever there was a scene where the animals got into mischief, it was like I laughed out loud. 18. How would you label or describe yourself politically? I am going to be boring and say center left. I am going to give you a super quick summary of my love life in college, just to give you an idea. So once I had a boyfriend who was super leftist, socialist. His mom was a militant of the Communist Party in Mexico when she was 17, super leftist. So for him, and when I was with his family, I was a very conservative right-winged person, because compared to them, I was conservative because I'm not as radical left as them. Then I had, I don't know, I guess you can psychoanalyze me, but then I had the complete opposite. I had a boyfriend who was from a super conservative, right-wing, hyper-Catholic family. Um, don't judge me, please. He wasn't like his family, but when I was with his family, I was considered like this super radical leftist because his family was so conservative. So that's funny. Center left is the easiest, boringest, but most accurate answer I could give to this question. And let's move on from politics. Question 19. What was the last movie you watched? The last movie I watched was Passing, the Netflix adaptation of Nella Larsen's Passing. I like the movie better. Change questions. So don't get into that. Question 20. Do you want kids? Do you wish you had kids? If you have kids, give a piece of advice. I used to want kids, and then I got diagnosed with this very complicated illness, and it's so complicated that honestly at this point in my life I can't imagine adding the complication of kids. I will leave it at that. 21. Do you get along with your siblings? Yes, I do. I have two sisters. I am the oldest. I have a sister that is 1 year younger, and then another that is 11 years younger. I really do get along with them. I love my sisters very much. Question 22. What is a book you have serious issues with but love? I didn't prepare this tag. I'm just reading the questions as I go, and I am not sure if I have an answer or if I can think of an answer. A book I have issues with but love. I can't think of a specific book, but within the romance genre, there are a lot of books I have problems with, specific tropes that I am not super I have issues with, but I still love. 23. What is your favorite theme song to a movie and or TV show? I'm going to be super corny and say Gilmore Girls. My sisters and I, we all three, we love Gilmore Girls, and we really love watching it together, and whenever the theme song comes up, we all sing it. So yeah, I guess that would be one. You know how in Netflix you can skip intro? It's one of those you never skip. The Gilmore Girls theme song. Question 24. Do you like your job? If you switched careers, what would you do? I do like my job. I work independently in time management, but don't draw conclusions from that. I'm not a coachy type person. But yeah, I do like my job. If I switched careers, I would love to work in a proper workplace. I really love teamwork. I love going to the office. I love having co-workers. I love that. I have worked in actual offices before, not from home. I started working from home after my illness was diagnosed, but I really enjoy going to the workplace, having co-workers. I think I would really enjoy working at a university, some type of academic setting. That's where I feel most at home, I think. Only two more questions. Question 25. What is something you love about the city you live in? I love that we have volcanoes close, so you in the landscape you can see the volcanoes, And I love that it's not a super small city, but also not super big. Sort of like, for example, when I lived in Massachusetts, what I really loved about Boston was that it's not as big as New York City. And for example, from the places I've been to, New York City is my favorite city, but I wouldn't like to live there because it's too big, and Boston is the perfect size. So where I live is kind of like that. It's not too big and not too small, and I like that. And the final question, Gabe. Who is your celebrity crush? Oh man, are we going to get into that? My all-time celebrity husband is Henry Cavill. Not because of Superman. Not because of Superman. I actually do not like him in Superman. I fell in love with him from the Tudors. I was a super fan of that show. Me and my best friend, we were fans of the Tudors, and that's where I fell in love with Henry Cavill. I always joke that I have a lot of celebrity boyfriends, but my husband is Henry Cavill. If you saw my Tolkien tag, you have heard me talk about how my husband is Eomer from Lord of the Rings, but Eomer is the character, not the actor. But in terms of celebrities, definitely Henry Cavill. But yes, yeah, those are the 26 questions. It was a super fun tag to answer. Go ahead and answer if you want to. I'm not going to tag anyone because it's a super long tag and the questions are very personal, so if you want to answer it, go ahead. So that would be it for today. Hopefully my next video will be filmed in the daylight, so I will have better lighting. That would be all for this Tag Tuesday. I will see you on Sunday, I guess, for my next bookish video. In the meantime, I wish you happy reading.